Well, hello and welcome back to the official selection. My name's Neve Brooke and today I'm here with Jack Howard,
Hello.
the writer and director of The Second Time Around. How are you, Jack?
Really, really well, thank you. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Thanks for coming down, visiting Norwich. How are you finding it so
It's
far?
wonderful, yeah. I came here once before, maybe about 10 years ago, when I worked at BBC Radio 1, and I forgot all about that until I was wandering around. I was like, oh, I have been here before. It's a lovely place, and the festival's been gorgeous, and yeah, it's just been a wonderful experience.
Yeah, what have the highlights been of the festival? I know, did you get in yesterday for the festival?
Yeah, we came in yesterday. Our screening was at 3:00. That was lovely. It's always just very, very nice to see the film on the big screen and then have people come and talk to you about it, and that's always just better than just seeing people, numbers on a screen or comments or something. It's always just nicer just to see people in real life and see the experience that they've had, and it's just very, very nice.
And it's how films are meant to be seen. So as a director, it must be so wonderful being in that room with an audience and feeling how they feel. And particularly with your film, the ending, it must be lovely to see everyone's reactions.
It really is. And I don't know what it is about the magic of cinema, and it's something that obviously I've known about as a fan of cinema for my entire life, but never have I felt it so personally with my own work as like the room and seeing it there and the atmosphere changes how the film feels. So I do always prefer people seeing it in the cinema, because I genuinely think that the atmosphere of the space does just do something to it. So yeah, it's always a great privilege to sort of see my own work in that kind of way, especially as like a picture house. Like, that's where I go and see all movies.
Especially at Cinema City. I mean, Ali Plum said it last night, it is the best one in the country. It's
Quoted.
so gorgeous. It's a little cold sometimes, little
If you
cold.
had one criticism,
Could
it's a
turn
bit
the
cold
heating up,
sometimes.
but that's what you get with an old church. You can't have everything. So I feel like we need to talk about The Second Time Around. How did the film come to be? Where did this idea come from?
I think that it's a kind of difficult question to answer succinctly, because it was genuinely built like over many, many, many months, because I'm kind of obsessed with the kind of concept that's in Second Time Around. It's sort of a time-bending kind of narrative. I'm obsessed with those kind of things. I wanted to tell something in that kind of world. I also really wanted to make something for the cinema experience. Like you were just mentioning, the end of the film, like I really wanted something that sort of cut to black and you could feel the bated breath in the room. Like I really wanted to build something that had that kind of, to intend an audience to kind of react that way, which was something I really wanted to do. But I think just over time, I thought about like a concept that I was like, oh, that's fun. Oh, that'd be good. Oh, that'd be fun for an audience to experience. But then the further and further I delved into it, the more I asked, well, why would that happen? What would I do if I was in that situation? If that was real, how would you actually react? The more and more that I did that, the deeper and deeper I went into it, and the less it kind of resembled what I originally thought it was going to be.
The story sort of told itself.
Exactly, yeah. I think it just kind of, the more I asked truthfully, well, why, the more it kind of told me, well, it has to be this, and it has to be this, and it has to be this. And I think I just spent enough time with it that it kind of just kind of started to form its own kind of shape.
And you can see that in the characters because they feel so real and tactile.
Thank you.
And it's so beautifully written that their relationship becomes so developed in such a short space of time. There's that lovely bit where they're rubbing each other's fingers like they're lifelong, lovers. But it's gorgeous. What was it like, working with the actors to develop that bond and see it like progress throughout the film?
Well, it stars Caroline Goodall and Hannah Onslow, who are both absolutely fantastic, and I feel genuinely so privileged to have them be the face of my film, because without them, the whole thing would have fallen apart. Like, I genuinely think it would have fallen on its face if the actors weren't as good as they are. And what's interesting about their dynamic in the film is that they want fundamentally different things from the scene that they're in.
Yeah.
So Caroline's character, all she wants is 5 minutes to be present with this person, and Hannah's character, all she wants is for this woman to go away so that she can go home because she's tired and she's been working all day.
Yeah.
So they're kind of clashing, in terms of what they kind of want out of the scene. But that was really kind of, the tension of that was very interesting to play with, and then to see the moment when it kind of relaxes and that kind of dissipates and it does become this very brief moment where they do get to be very present with each other. And I think that's why, as you mentioned, the hand, Caroline playing with Hannah's hand becomes really like a pivotal moment because it's been so distant and so kind of avoidant for so long that those little gestures can then speak, like, you know, they can mean so much more. So working with them was amazing. Caroline and Hannah had like very, very different approaches as well, especially because Caroline has all the context and Hannah has none of it.
Yes.
So Caroline had so many questions and went down so many rabbit holes and had so many ideas and brought so many things that I never thought anybody could. I'd lived with this film for so long, I didn't think anybody could bring anything new that I wouldn't have considered. And Caroline just kept surprising me with all the different ways that she was kind of interpreting the character and where she might have come from and all that kind of stuff. And then Hannah was very like, I want to stay out of those conversations because I'm not supposed to know anything, and I really just want to react to this weird person that turns up to my work.
This soggy lady at the door.
Exactly. Yeah. That is a potentially dangerous stranger. So it was amazing. And then I don't know if we ever spoke about it really with Hannah, but I think it's just a testament to how talented she is, that the film kind of relies on you buying her journey. That at the beginning of the film, she's borderline terrified of this person, certainly like a little bit apprehensive about her. And then by the end, she's been emotionally kind of rocked by her.
Yeah, she almost doesn't want her to leave.
Exactly. And if you don't believe that journey from terrified to that in 10 minutes, then it wouldn't work. And that's because Hannah's so amazing at telling you the story with how, you know, her body language, her facial expressions, like barely anything that she says. It's more just like how the vibe she's giving off. And that's just testament to what a fantastic storyteller she is.
Yeah. And it's so gorgeous, that theme of just wanting 5 more minutes. And when you find out the twist and watching it again, it's heartbreaking a second watch. I mean, the second time around. It's heartbreaking.
Why do you think it's called that?
Oh my gosh. It literally, I had my heart in my mouth going like, what would I do if I had 5 more minutes with someone? And
yes.
How would you go about it? Was it there any points when you're making that it was difficult dealing with those themes because it's so emotional, you know, thinking about what would you do?
Yeah. Well, thank you, first of all. I built the film to be kind of rewatched because I do think it is a different experience the second time that you watch it. All of the kind of like apprehension and the kind of borderline horror of it kind of dissipates on the second watch, and I think you then get to see the truth of what's going on. And I like the mechanics of this kind of time-bending stuff.
Wibbly wobbly, timey-wimey.
So there's a lot of that kind of like pattern stuff to be able to link up if you're interested in that kind of stuff. That's fun for me. But I was building this idea piece by piece, and that kind of presented itself to me, that theme of if you had 5 more minutes with somebody, what would you say with that particular person? But I don't think a lot of that was very conscious for me.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't even realise I'd done this, really, without questioning it. But Caroline's character is written as the woman. That's what she's never named. But there is a moment, you know, like you say, there's you called it a twist. I say that something dawns on you. Like, I don't particularly think it's a penny drop moment.
Yeah.
I think there's a moment when you kind of realise what's kind of going on. But there is an Easter egg in there where you find out what Caroline's name is. And it's just one image when she's looking at the picture wall that's barely filled, but you find out what her name is if you kind of know what you're looking for, I suppose. And that's my grandmother's name, and I lost my grandmother when I was like 5 years old. But I would always describe her, or at least it's been described to me that I would describe her like this. It's one of those weird things where like memory is it my memory? Is it stories?
Have I been told that?
Have I been told this? But she would be referred to as my second mother. So she taught me how to tie shoes. She was the person who, when I was riding a bike with stabilizers on, she said, the next time I see you, I want those stabilizers off the bike. Like, she was always kind of encouraging me. And she passed away of ovarian cancer when I was like 5, and it rocked me to the point where, you know, I started therapy in like 2018 or something, and in my first session I brought her up, and it just was like floods immediately. And so it's clearly still something that emotionally kind of rocks me. And so I don't think it's a coincidence that I've made a film where this older woman arrives from nowhere who has my grandmother's name, and the film is all about what would you say to this person if you had 5 more minutes with them. I don't think that's a coincidence, but it's not something I was conscious of when I was making it.
It's just
bursting out of me.
It's coming out. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh.
It's one of those things that a lot of the time, you know, there's a lot of things in film where every decision has a specific intention for me. It doesn't mean it's going to translate to whoever watches it. But there are also things in it that I don't even know why I'm doing it. But like it just feels right for some reason. It's instinctive, and I think that's one of those things that after I made it, I was like, oh, that's what I was doing.
Yeah, that's the beauty of like art and cinema and being creative. Is just you let it come out and throw it at the wall, see if it sticks, and just see what happens. I mean, it's such a beautiful film,
Thank
and
you.
I think it's so effective for everyone that watches. So thank you for bearing your soul and sharing the second time around with us. And I'm going to watch it the third time around later on.
See how it changes that
like,
time.
Ooh. Oh yeah, the time twist. Every time I watch it, I'm like, the Brolly thing is just deeply satisfying for me. I love it.
Yes, yeah. It took me a while to kind of, when you try and explain the missing umbrella with words, with language, it's sort of hard to sort of tell people how it's working. But yeah, I'm glad that you can follow that one. Because like I said, those mechanics, that they just sort of scratch an itch in my brain. I really like them.
I love the bit where she almost realises that she's the little shit.
I love that.
She's like, oh, it's me.
Yeah,
it's so good.
I'm glad that you phrased it like that, because literally when Caroline performed it, we called cut, and then she went, did you see what I was thinking? Oh, I'm the little shit.
Yeah, I'm the little shit.
Yeah, you can see it on her face. That's exactly what she's thinking.
I hope we can swear on this podcast.
Just bleep it.
It's fine. It's just lots of beeps for 30 seconds. I feel like I would love to pick your brains about your film festival process. How has it been to, seeing the second time around, in the festival circuit?
Well, like kind of what we were saying earlier, like just having the chance to see it on the big screen is unbelievably, like it's a great privilege, and I never get bored of it. And yeah, the audiences have been so lovely. But yeah, I mean, going to all these different festivals all over the country and actually all over the world, it's surreal. I can't quite kind of process it. I think because the film existed in my head for so long, it still feels strange that it actually exists in reality now.
You're like, what do you mean you've seen it? Like,
yes,
it's mine.
Exactly, yeah. It honestly does feel a bit like that.
And with submitting the second time around, did you have like a strategy when you were going to festivals, or was it sort of, I've heard of this one looks good, or was there like an overarching plan for like the film festival circuit?
There was a bit of a plan. My producers, Max Marlowe and Ash Horn, have both done this a little bit more than me, and so they put together a spreadsheet of ones that they knew they wanted to hit and at least try and submit to, and when the deadlines were and all that kind of stuff. So Max specifically as well had like a lot of experience knowing which ones he thought would be good for us. So there was a bit of that, but also there was a bit of just going around Film Freeway and just being like, what looks interesting to me, and doing a bit of research. And sometimes I found reaching out to the programmers really helpful. Like Ewan here, like
yes, big up Ewan.
Yeah, big up Ewan. I reached out to them. I was just looking around at lots of different places and saw that Ewan already kind of was aware of me on social media and stuff, and so it was like a lovely way of just going like, oh hi, like I'm submitting to the festival, I really hope you like the film. Like, and I think sometimes that personal kind of approach, even if they know you or not, I've done it both ways, it can be a really like lovely way of kind of getting a bit more understanding of how this works, and they're always very happy to talk to you. Like the programmer, this lovely woman who programs for the AFI Film Festival, which I unfortunately didn't get into, but she was and continues to be so helpful in terms of like, here's some recommendations for festivals I think your film would work well with. Here's this person I know. Like, she spent a couple of hours with me just on Zoom talking to me about how the festival system kind of works. So yeah, it's just been a very welcoming thing, actually, just overall.
Because film festivals are just ultimately people who really love films.
Exactly.
And if you will happily talk about films, then like we will listen. So
they're your people. I think that's it, actually, is that a lot of the time you think like, oh, I'll go to university and study film and TV or media or whatever. You know, I didn't go to a film school. I don't know what it's like in an actual film school. But when I went to university, I thought I'd find my tribe there.
Yeah.
But really, it was just a bunch of people who like were quite good at media in school and thought, oh, I'll go to university and that'll be a fun subject to take. It wasn't like people who were there wasn't that many people who were truly passionate about it. Whereas I think at a film festival, those are your people that are truly passionate about it. They wouldn't get involved with this sort of stuff for any other reason other than that they absolutely love cinema. So yeah, it's just a bunch of people that will really accept you and be able to meet you with the same amount of excitement that you have.
It's such a lovely atmosphere being at the festival. I mean, it was the awards last night and it was just a gorgeous vibe seeing everyone chatting away. And film festivals are so much more than just screenings. There's panels and networking and, Q&As. How do you go about maximizing your time at a festival? Like, do you try and do everything? Do you sort of pick and choose? Do you like networking?
I don't love networking, I'll be honest.
It's hard.
It's a difficult one, especially because it can feel a bit like I never feel it in this direction if someone's ever trying to talk to me, but I can always feel this kind of strange, like, I feel like I'm just trying to like use this person, and I don't want to I don't want them to feel that way. Like, oh, you might be useful to me.
What
like,
can I get from you?
Yeah, I don't like that at all. But I never feel that when someone's doing, if someone's networking with me.
Yeah.
I never feel that way personally. So that's just an insecurity I have about networking. But when I come to film festivals, I obviously love going to as many of the screenings as I can, and then sort of meeting with other filmmakers, ones who I've maybe sort of seen their work around, like we're in the same kind of screenings, or we've seen each other's work online, and we're kind of following each other. It's always nice to meet people in person. There's like a nice kind of way of sort of meeting for the first time in this kind of atmosphere, because it's always very relaxed. You can have a little drink afterwards, and it's just it's a really nice hub of people. So yeah, I think each festival offers something slightly different, and it's like a slightly different approach. Like the reason why I've loved Norwich so much is because it's like this very lovely city that is fairly like contained as well. That you can kind of wander around and see some lovely stuff. And then I've just bumped into people that have been at the festival. Like, it's kind of, it all feels like the festival's kind of bleeding into the
It's
the
lovely,
place.
and there's always such a lovely like buzz when the festival's on. It's always like you always see lanyards everywhere in the city, and it's gorgeous. I love this time of year. And I was saying earlier on that Norwich Film Festival and I'm a Celebrity means it's Christmas. So, and it starts tonight. So and that tree's going up soon. If there are any like filmmakers out there who've just finished the edit, they've got the film, the MP4's done. Do you have any top tips of like what's the best way to go about submitting to festivals for the first time?
Yes, I think because it's my first time doing the festival circuit, and for those who may not know, I basically for the last 15 years or so have been just throwing my work on YouTube, and that was a wonderful thing because it was like a direct link to an audience, and I think that's powerful, and I've benefited a lot from that, and having eyes on my work was a real benefit to me, not only just to be able to progress, but also to be able to improve on what I was doing, because technically I was getting better, but also I was having a relationship with an audience where I understood how they were reacting or not reacting, or what wasn't working or what was working, and how I could kind of use that going forward when I was telling new stories. But what I've really, really liked about film festivals is it's a different kind of audience. Like when you go on the internet, it's like to everybody and no one. Like it's just kind of like
into the void.
And it's like, you can say, oh, this has got 1 million views, but you may not hear, like no one never will speak to you about it, or it might not lead to anything. And I think that film festivals for me have proven to be a very, very useful, different kind of audience. And it's it's just a different vibe from people, and they're truly people who want to come and see films, as we keep saying. But if there's somebody who has just finished, I think that either one of those routes, depending on what you want from it, is a perfectly fine way of going, especially the way that the world is kind of melding together now. And if you wanted to just chuck it on YouTube, that's fine. If it isn't ready for you, because I felt for ages like I wasn't ready for film festivals. I don't know what, maybe that was an insecurity on my part, but I think doing the YouTube thing was a good practice.
Yeah.
And so I think if you want to chuck your stuff on YouTube, that's great. But I really think that there's something like the community of a film festival, you'll find like-minded people easier, and it will be a lovely kind of like way of kind of inserting yourself into the film world a bit more. Because when I put stuff on the internet, like I say, it was kind of to everyone and no one.
Yeah.
I didn't know if anybody from the film world was ever seeing the stuff I was doing, whereas I've had way more film-centric people talk to me after seeing it at a film festival where maybe like there's 50 people in the room versus 50,000.
Yeah.
But those 50 people are like way more kind of in the world we want to be in. So there's a long-winded way of saying like both are good for different reasons. But I genuinely think that don't overshoot things. in terms of, especially if you're kind of younger and it's like a very new film, don't think that you can submit to Sundance. Like that's maybe a bit of a long shot. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think Cannes free, so I'd say give it a go. Like,
why not?
Submit to Cannes. Who knows? We got rejected from Cannes. It's like a nice little, a nice little staple to have a rejection from Cannes.
It's a badge of honour.
Yeah. But I think look, do a bit of research on all those film festivals and try and find like ones that feel like you fit in there. I don't think blanket just like, I mean, if you've got the money, just go everywhere. But I'd imagine you don't. So I would look into like what these different festivals offer, because they do tell you, like on their websites, everyone describes the kind of festival they are. You can see the kind of films that they've won before. Do that research like properly, because I think that these people that run these festivals can tell if you're just kind of swinging and you don't really care who.
It's a blanket application.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah. Yes. And I wrote quite a lot, not for every festival, but I wrote quite a lot of like cover letters. And I think I wrote one for Norwich. And like I say, I got in touch with Ewan. And I think having a bit more of a personal approach can be really nice, even though it's not necessary. I'm sure that it doesn't, if you've not made something that fits with the festival, it's not going to change their mind if you're a more personable person. But it's always nice to be able to go like, well, they know who you are now.
Yeah.
They know you're a nice person, so like maybe the next one will be the one that gets you in, and they already know you. So, yeah, I think just being a nice person.
Yeah, show that you care. Just be nice.
Yeah.
That's very good advice.
But at the same time, I don't know if I have a true like you should do this. There's no secret.
Yeah.
I think mostly it's in the work and just being a good person. You can just cut down all my waffle and just be that. Just say that.
Be nice, be a good person,
Make
and
good
always
stuff.
say hello to us.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not sure if I'm allowed to ask, but I'm going to anyway.
Okay.
What's next? Can we expect
I
any?
hate
I know, I have to. I'm so sorry. A film.
So yeah, like it's honestly the dreaded question, because anybody knows who's ever made anything that, you know, you've spent so long making this one thing, finally you get to share it with people, and all you want to hear is like, what did you think of it? And then ultimately it's always like, so what's next then?
What's next?
And it's
We've
like,
got this one.
oh yeah, back to the drawing board, I forgot. I'm hoping, so we're seeing this through. We're obviously going to see this into the end of its festival run, and we're swinging at the BAFTA and the Oscar to see, because who knows?
Yeah.
Probably not, but who knows? But ultimately I've made this to kind of, I made it because I wanted to tell the story, but also as a filmmaker, I wanted to sort of prove the kind of story I could tell, the ones that I was interested in telling, and I'm hoping the next project will be TV, film, something a bit with a larger canvas.
Yeah.
I've spent a good part of my life making short form stuff, and I love it. There's a place for that, but I'm feeling like I'm chomping at the bit now to have an hour and a half to tell a story rather than 12 minutes.
Yeah. Well, we can't wait to see that hour and a half.
Thanks.
Thank you so much for coming to speak with us, for coming to the festival, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day in Norwich. I know you're going to pay tributes to Paddington Bear at the cathedral.
I am, yes.
Thank you for joining us, Jack.
Thank you for having me.